Okay, so now I really have run out of fingers. This is video number 11, and we're only just starting to go down the rabbit hole. So in the last video, I talked about the good news, and that it's us, the people in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, who are, in fact, being saved. But have you ever thought about what we're being saved from? Well, we're being saved from the truly spectacular deceptions that Satan has perpetrated. And I'm certain now, if you've been following along, you can see how we have, all of us, been deceived in a truly spectacular way, especially by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and its governing body. We were deceived into believing the same lie that Eve was told in the Garden of Eden. It's humiliating just to spend time thinking about that. So, did you as a Bible-believing Christian think that no one would be deceived? The Bible itself says that everyone, the whole world, would be deceived. Right? And so, if you're going to conquer, you need to learn the truth. And Jesus Christ said the truth would set you free. How often have you heard that in a kingdom hall, or even in a church in popular Christian denominations? The truth will set you free. Free from what? From Satan's deceptions. That's how you can conquer. Conquer Satan, and you'll be free. You'll be free of all those truly spectacular deceptions that Satan really has perpetrated on the entire world. So hopefully now your eyes are opening and you're saying, yeah. Hopefully, I'm hoping that my audience can get past that initial humiliation and come to terms with the fact that, yeah, we were all deceived. And now we're being emancipated. We are being set free from those deceptions. And so we're being saved from that, from Satan and his world, which is completely deceived. And here we are now learning the truth. In the wilderness, we're being fed. So this reminds me of, once again, Revelation chapter 12, where it mentions the man-child, and it also mentions that very special group of people who will indeed observe God's commandment. So I'm going to read something from Revelation chapter 12. And it's in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Listen carefully, and then we'll talk about it. So down the great dragon was hurled, the original serpent, the one called Devil and Satan, who is misleading the entire inhabited earth. He was hurled down to the earth, and his angels were hurled down with him. So, what? Even if you're a Bible-believing Christian, did you think you weren't going to be deceived by Satan? Well, according to the Bible, according to these things that Jesus Christ revealed to the Apostle John, we'd all be deceived. So if you're coming to terms with your humility, like I also did, and I'm still doing it, I'm still coming to terms with that humility, then this might give you some comfort. Everyone will be deceived. There's no one on this planet Earth who will not be deceived by Satan himself. So, what happens next? Well, I'll keep reading. And I heard a loud voice in heaven say, "Now have come to pass the salvation and power and the kingdom of our God." Okay, so this is God's kingdom, not Jesus Christ's kingdom. This is God's kingdom, the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Christ. Because the accuser of our brothers has been hurled down. So it's not until the entire world has been deceived by Satan that God's kingdom would come. And so I've shown you through the past 10 videos now that God's kingdom is here. It's in the midst of us, that very special esoteric group of excommunicated Christians. But notice in the scripture it says, "Now have come to pass the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God." What now is being talked about here? Because this is all about timing, right? If it's now, when's the now? Well, we have to go back in this same chapter in the book of Revelation, chapter 12. Okay? The now is when the great sign was seen in heaven. A woman arrayed with the sun, and the moon beneath her feet, and on her head was a crown of 12 stars. And she was pregnant, and she cries out in her pains and in her agony to give birth. So remember in Isaiah chapter 66, we are the ones suffering through those pains. And so what did she give birth to? And she gave birth to a son, a male, who is to shepherd all the nations with an iron rod. So when it says, "Now has come to pass the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Christ," then I'm going to say to my audience that the now, the timing of this, is when this great sign is seen in the heavens and the male child is delivered. Make sense? Because this is about timing. If it's saying now, then this is all about Bible chronology. It's the now. So if there's a salvation from Satan, who is misleading the entire earth, then we're going to be set free from his deceptions and conquer him. And so I'm hoping that through the previous videos, you're now seeing through all those truly spectacular deceptions. It's amazing that he was able to perpetrate that. But on the other hand, it's truly repulsive that the rulers of the people in Jesus Christ's kingdom helped Satan to perpetrate those same deceptions. So, are you now seeing this? Are your eyes wide opening? Because this is all about God's kingdom. It's not about Jesus Christ's kingdom. And that's why it was so very important of me, as I'm taking you down this very deep rabbit hole, to show you that there's a big, huge difference between Jesus Christ's kingdom and God's kingdom. Because Jesus Christ, after all, he told us to pray for God's kingdom to come. And so his kingdom is in your midst. And here we are being saved from Satan and his deceptions. You remember that scripture? The truth will set you free. We're being emancipated to all those deceptions that were holding us captive. So if you can see through those deceptions, you're being set free from Satan and his world. And the entire world has been deceived. So, does that make sense? And if you are now being emancipated and set free, it's the truth now that's setting you free. And that would happen when God's kingdom came. And so this now timing has everything to do with the male child being delivered. And I've already proven to you that that male child would come from within the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. It would be a disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness. God's kingdom would be in your midst. And so, if it's the truth that will set you free, then who, out of all the Christians on this planet Earth, who is it that's going to learn the truth? Well, I'm going to do a little bit of review here and show you once again who it is that will be set free from Satan's truly spectacular deceptions. So yeah, you might be having difficulty coming to terms with the fact that we've all been deceived, and it's very humiliating, and it's really difficult to abandon everything we've been previously convinced to believe. But if we are indeed to be born again, then we have to abandon the old person, the person who was convinced to believe all those things that led us to being deceived. Right? So if we really want to be set free, we have to abandon the things that caused us to fall into captivity to Satan's deception. So do you see why I have to keep explaining that? Yeah, a lot of people in the comments believe this and believe that and believe this and believe so many things, and those were things that they learned from who knows where. Some of them from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, some of them from other Christian denominations, some of them from reading books that were written by Bible commentators, and some of them are just making it up. So are you willing to abandon all of that and learn something new? Remember, all things are new. So it is going to be difficult. Learning the truth is going to be difficult. But I'll ask that question once again. Who is it that will be set free? Who? Who are going to learn these truths and be set free from captivity to all those spectacular deceptions that you should be aware of now if you've watched the previous videos and also the ones I invited you to watch that have been in my channel for years. So here we go. I'll read it. It's in John chapter 16. I'll start in verse 12. I have many things yet to say to you, but you are not able to bear them at present. So, are you having difficulty? This is the reason why. You're going to have some difficulty with this, because Satan has been so successful. But look what Jesus Christ said next. However, when that one arrives, the Spirit of the truth, he will guide you into all the truth. The truth will set you free. Set who free? The truth will set who free? So we'll back up, and now I'll read starting in John chapter 15 this time, and you'll see who it is. You ready? When the Helper arrives, that I will send you from the Father, the Spirit of the truth, which proceeds from the Father, that one will bear witness about me, and you in turn are to bear witness, because you have been with me from when I began. I have spoken these things to you that you may not be stumbled. Men will expel you. So now do the math. Who is it that will be guided into all the truth? The truth that will set you free from Satan's deceptions. This future audience of excommunicated Christians would be set free from captivity to Satan's deception. They would be set free by the truth. The truth will set you free. They will be guided into those truths. And Jesus did indicate that some of those people will still be stumbled. They'll find these things difficult to bear. So, are you having difficulty coming to terms with just how spectacular his deception was, and how we were indeed being held captive by those very same deceptions, which were perpetrated by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and its governing body? Satan used them to perpetrate the most spectacular deception that you could ever imagine. And those things are the things difficult to bear. Are you bearing them? I hope so, because these are the things that will set you free, and eventually you should see God's kingdom. You'll be born again and see God's kingdom and realize that it's in your midst. Amazing, isn't that? So I think it's really important that you see just how much Satan has deceived the entire inhabited earth. And those deceptions go past the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society with its governing body. All of the Christian denominations, Christianity, is being deceived. All of those churches that you could go to now, they're also being deceived by Satan. So, and even in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, the people that we're all now a part of, there's so many of those people carrying on with the very same deceptions that are deceiving the rest of the world. So, and I think one of the most important things you have to come to terms with is recognizing that it really is a difference between Jesus Christ's kingdom, Christianity, and God's kingdom. Because Jesus Christ really did say that his kingdom would become infested with Satan's weeds. And so it dismays me sometimes when I see a disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness, a Bible-believing one, who still has that spirituality and believes in God, and then they go to another church in Christianity, to a United Church, or even Catholicism, or to one of those born-again churches where they think they're being born again, and they're a part of a Christian denomination. Well, if you're part of a Christian denomination, you're in Jesus Christ's kingdom. And so it dismays me when I see a disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness proclaiming that they're saved because they're now going to some other church, a United Church, or whatever denomination they pick, because they're still looking for something righteous. And not that that's a bad thing. Everyone should be looking for the truth, which is what righteousness is, right? So, but in looking for the truth, they're still being affected by Satan's truly spectacular deception. So imagine a disfellowshipped Jehovah's Witness now going to, say, a United Church and saying, oh, I found something that's full of righteous people who obey Jesus Christ, and what a lovely community and a beautiful church we have. And they go and they listen to sermons given from the pulpit in that new church, and the minister in that church will show them how righteous everyone is and teach all those people in the church to attempt to obey Jesus Christ's commandments. But now, having understood the difference between Jesus Christ's kingdom and God's kingdom, if I went to another denomination in Christianity, one of those popular denominations, and I wanted to hear the truth from the pulpit, I'd want to hear something like the minister giving the sermon on a Sunday saying, look around your congregation. It's infested with the most evil of Satan's weeds. They could be sitting right next to you in the pew in that church. And so, see, we really are Jesus Christ's kingdom. Have you ever heard that? No. Why haven't you heard that? It's Satan's deception. Can you see it now? The entire inhabited earth has been deceived. I don't hear anyone in a Christian church saying, hey, look, I'm in the right place because we're just infested with Satan's weeds. And the brothers I'm associated with are the most evil people I can think of. Oh, but by the way, there's some really nice ones too. You don't hear anyone saying that in Christianity anywhere in a Christian denomination. I don't hear it. And so then where is God's kingdom? If that's Jesus Christ's kingdom, where is God's kingdom? Hopefully through watching the last 10 videos I've made, you're beginning to see God's kingdom. There'll be no weeds in God's kingdom. And so even many people, very popular ex-Jehovah's Witnesses with YouTube channels that are going viral, and they're saying, oh, look how evil the governing body and the elders, and look at all the injustices in the kingdom hall, so that can't be the truth. But it is. It is the truth. That's what would happen to Jesus Christ's kingdom. And so even these people in our ex-Jehovah's Witness community with channels going viral with thousands of subscribers, they are held captive to Satan's deception. So, and they shouldn't be. It's a shame. It's really a shame. So what are you going to do? Pay it forward. Explain it, the truth to them. Declare abroad the excellencies of the one that took you out of darkness. And we were all in darkness. The one that took us out of darkness into his wonderful light. Declare it. Pay it forward. And I'll read a scripture. It's in Romans, I think it's Romans 10. It's in Romans 10. It's a little bit after Romans 9, where it describes, those not my people, I will call my people. So if you go to Romans 10, it says, but if you publicly declare that word in your own mouth, that Jesus is Lord, and exercise faith in your heart that God raised him up from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one exercises faith for righteousness. So what is that? Faith for righteousness. Well, righteousness is the truth. Do you have faith in the truth? So hopefully I've helped my audience understand the deception about the war of Armageddon. There is no war of Armageddon. And if you think it is a war of Armageddon, you'll never see the place. And so that itself is one of Satan's deceptions that he's perpetrated on the entire world. All of popular Christianity say, oh, the war of Armageddon. And the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society and its governing body are teaching the same things to Jehovah's Witnesses, the people you've left behind in the kingdom hall. The war of Armageddon. There's no war of Armageddon mentioned anywhere in the Bible. So are your eyes opening to that, and now you can see the place? You're being emancipated. You're being set free. The truth will set you free from those deceptions. So let me continue in Romans chapter 10. And by the way, that last verse was verse 10. So I'll continue in verse 11. For the scripture says, 10. Let me start with 10. For with the heart one exercises faith for righteousness. Faith in the truth. So do you now have faith in the truth that's setting you free from those spectacular deceptions? It goes on to say, but with the mouth, one makes public declaration for salvation. With the mouth. Declare abroad the excellencies. Pay it forward. You in turn are to bear witness. So I think I'll finish this video with one more scripture. So here it is. It's Isaiah chapter 61. It's just a few chapters behind Isaiah chapter 66, which is most definitely about the end times. So listen carefully to this. It's significant to the things I've just explained. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord Jehovah is upon me, for the reason that Jehovah has anointed me to tell good news to the meek ones. Are you a meek one? A meek person is someone who's willing to be humiliated, a humble person. And it is humiliating. I can truly empathize with your situation if you've been following along. To the meek ones, he has sent me to bind up the broken-hearted, to proclaim liberty to those taken captive. Captive to what? Satan's deceptions. And the wide opening of the eyes even to the prisoners. Prisoners of what? Satan's deception. To proclaim the year of goodwill on the part of Jehovah and the day of vengeance on the part of our God. To comfort all the mourning ones. So can you think of any mourning ones? The ex-Jehovah's Witness community who is suffering through some enormous grief to the point where some in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community commit suicide. They're definitely mourning. To comfort the mourning ones. So can you now think of a way to comfort all those people who are mourning in the ex-Jehovah's Witness community, grieving over their circumstance? And it's a truly grievous circumstance that everyone is in. To assign to those mourning over Zion, to give them a headdress instead of ashes, the oil of exaltation instead of mourning, the mantle of praise instead of the downhearted spirit. And they must be called big trees of righteousness, the planting of Jehovah, for him to be beautified. How can you beautify Jehovah? Declare abroad his excellencies. Pay it forward. The truth really is setting you free from all of those spectacular deceptions. So that's it, the end of video number 11.